All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's week 18 of the NFL season, the last game, the last week of the year here, and the Jets have to play the New England Patriots. Right now, obviously, the season has not gone our way. Same can be said for New England as well. Whether you want to talk about win-loss record, injuries, how the team has been managed, a real lack of accountability, leadership, and that proactive approach, it just kind of seems like the Jets are stagnant in a lot of different areas. I mean, you could go down the long list of disappointing areas that Jets fans had to experience this season. Again, it has not gone our way. But with that said, I'm excited to get to the offseason. I'm really looking forward to free agency, potential trade targets, maybe some more coaches added to the mix, right? Obviously not replacement for Robert Saleh, Nathaniel Hackett, or Jeff Ulbrich, but maybe some of the positional coaches or, the pass/running game coordinators, the offensive line coach, Keith Carter, Todd Downing. Maybe we see those guys getting swapped out. Of course, mock drafts, the draft. This stuff cannot come soon enough. I am so looking forward to it. I love talking about it. I love diving in. I love seeing what you guys have to say. I mean, whether it's the Jets, an MLB team, whatever, NBA, I love the rebuilding process. I love it if a team unfortunately misses the playoffs, how do you attack the offseason? How do you get this thing moving in the right direction? How do you build it up? And that's exactly what the Jets have on their plate for this offseason, right? There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and I cannot wait to dive into it. So the Patriots have missed the playoffs. The Jets have missed the playoffs. This is one of those games that I've seen a lot of fans go back and forth with. I was talking to my brother the other day about, he asked me, do I want the Jets to lose? Point blank. Because of draft position and also in turn helping the Patriots. It's kind of like one of those weird situations where a win is going to hurt you in April. It's that close of a call when you look at the rest of the teams finishing in the bottom 5, bottom 10, Arizona, Washington, the Titans, and the Chargers, right? There's a lot left to be determined with the NFL draft order. And my answer to my brother was simply, hey, I want the Jets to win. I never am watching the Jets hoping for mistakes, rooting for guys to throw picks, rooting for guys to drop passes, rooting for bad play calls. It's just not really, I just can't personally do that. And plus, when I'm sitting there on Sunday, I really want to enjoy the game. So yeah, I don't know. I just can't root against my team. But my mindset is I'm hoping for a win, but if we lose, hey, at least there's a silver lining here. That's always kind of been my approach. And whatever happens, no matter what the result is. And at the end of the day, the Jets will have a top first-round pick, right? I think that's a positive. It will be in the first half of the first round. The question is really where exactly are they going to fall? And also, too, with New England, with a couple of really talented quarterbacks coming out, obviously, it helps if New England is, knocked down a couple pegs, because as we all know, quarterbacks go pretty dang early in the NFL draft. But you could always make you could always make the argument New England is going to have a top pick anyway, based off of not only just the record, but the strength of schedule. So for me, what I'm hoping to see from this Jets team this Sunday against New England is a team that fights, is a team that's bought in to Robert Saleh because he's going to be back next season, right? Woody Johnson has already came out and said that Saleh and co, everybody's coming back. So whether or not Saleh is the right man for the job, which is completely up for debate, he's going to be here. So because of that, we need the players to buy in. I know I've talked about it a bunch on the channel, but it's really, really difficult to get players to buy into what you're saying, buy into to your specific culture, and then to lose those guys. And then to try to get them to re-buy back in to the same mantras and sayings. A lot of the stuff that has really bothered me this season is the mantras and sayings that Saleh continuously talks about. They don't really seem to do, not only just they don't seem to do anything, but but they don't practice what they preach, like the whole all gas, no brake thing. And, Saleh, I mean, there was even a segment, I believe it was on Hard Knocks or One Jets Drive this offseason, where Saleh was talking about adversity, right? Adversity is going to come this season. We all know it's going to. How do we respond? Right, that it's such a big question. It's such a big point of emphasis that Saleh was making to that team, and that really the entire offseason. And from the coaching staff, they couldn't handle it, right? So that's kind of the weird dynamic where I'm sitting here watching this team as a fan as the weeks go by, listening to the pressers, and it just makes you question everything in place and ask the question, is it the right decision to bring Saleh back, to bring him back, to bring Nathaniel Hackett back and Joe Douglas and pretty much the whole squad. So again, kind of back into the Patriots game here, because we need these guys to try to buy back in. Personally, I am not trying to end the season where our young homegrown stars are frustrated and want to leave. I'm not trying to end the season on a losing streak, or I guess I should say consecutive back-to-back losses. As we all know, Cleveland the week prior, and then Washington barely skipped by right at the end with a 54-yarder from Greg Zuerlein. I don't want this bad taste in our mouth to end the year. I mean, Saleh is 0-5 against Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots since he's taken over. New England has owned Robert Saleh's Jets. It's just the bottom line. That's what the numbers say. Despite every game, not every single game, but a lot of these games being close and the Jets having chances, but the Jets shooting themselves in the foot over and over and over again. Penalties, mishaps, fumbles, turnovers, whatever it is. They just can't get over that Patriots hump. I don't want to end the season once again losing to the division rival Patriots and seeing Saleh, again, a guy who's coming back, a staff who's coming back next season, fall to 0-6 against him. And then essentially Bill Belichick can walk off into the sunset, parting ways with New England, going undefeated against the Jets in whatever it is, the last 3 years. Just not really a place that I want to be. And then, I know from a mathematical sense, the draft and everything, like the draft positioning and stuff is important, but another factor that comes into play, how free agents, how potential trade targets view the New York Jets. If the Jets go out there and get bludgeoned, that's going to be the first game that free agents think about. It's going to be something that haunts them throughout the course of the offseason, right? If we see another Dolphins performance, I truly do believe it's going to be tougher for Douglas, tougher for the Jets organization to try to recruit potential free agents and win now options. I mean, it was difficult enough last season with guys like Odell Beckham Jr., who chose Baltimore over the Jets, Orlando Brown, Bengals over the Jets, Calais Campbell, Atlanta over the Jets. This was before the offensive line problems, or at least on-field offensive line problems. This was before the Aaron Rodgers injury. This was before the Jets having historically bad numbers offensively. This was before all of the dysfunction in regards to leadership and accountability. So again, if we can end the season on a high note, I think that will bode well, even if it doesn't make sense mathematically as far as exact draft positioning. But I will say this, to end the video, I will say this. The exact draft positioning does matter. When the Jets went out and acquired Aaron Rodgers last season, there was a narrative or a notion that was being portrayed, which was, the first round pick swap doesn't really matter. It's only a pick, right? Going from 13 to 15. Not that big of a deal. But some Jets fans were like, it is a big deal. You're moving down a couple of spots. You could select the guy at 13. He could still be on the board at 14. But he might not be there at 15, right? So you can we can all go back and rewatch the whole draft video and whatnot with Joe Douglas wanting Michael Mayer. Personally, I do believe that Broderick Jones would have been in heavy consideration. I would go as far as to say he would have been the draft pick for the Jets at 15 if the Patriots didn't trade out with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They came in and selected him, and Jones has looked, really, really good for the for the Steelers offensive line this season. So it does matter. The exact draft positioning does matter. So it's going to be an interesting game for sure. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year, and as always, go Jets.